Namaste, angels. This is going to be the weekly love reading for the period of today, May 19th, which again is Malcolm X's birthday, for those who don't know. I saw a couple people on my timeline with today's birthday, too. Happy birthday to everybody whose birthday it is. And, of course, those of you who watch me and who have been for any amount of time know the significance of the number 19 and why that would be, that we would have so many people among us born on not just May 19th, but a 19 in general. That is a connection to Divine Father, and particularly King Osiris. So, in any case, happy weekend. Happy weekend. A couple things before I start. I talked about all else that may at all significantly impact us this week. In the general reading, as I always do, please do check out the general if you have not seen it. And one of those is the fact that Mercury enters its home sign of Gemini, where it will remain for about a month, actually to around, I think it was June 4th, it's going to stay there, which is just after the new moon in Gemini, when it then moves into Cancer. So what that means is a lot of people detaching from emotion and looking at things in a more realistic way based on logic and maybe their own intellect, wisdom. Communication also big and thorough, clear. A lot of paying attention to oneself, self-assessment, like honest self-assessment, like really looking at a situation like a Gemini does and seeing everyone's fault or the role that everyone's playing, checking our own role, even in relationships that we have that are good, like we still need to do an assessment. What role am I playing? Is it at all negative? Is it harmonious to the universe? Like, do we still align? So there's going to be a lot of that going on. I also, for like the past week, have been feeling a lot about figuring out one's own purpose. And I think I'm being drawn to that because of Pluto, actually. The Pluto retrograde in Capricorn. Really delving into why am I here? And getting away from like foolish notions like the one I spoke about this in my Patreon reading. That's why I'm using it as for my people that subscribe to my daily readings. So I'm going to use it as an example. I talked about people like Doreen Virtue the other day, who get out of their lane and begin to do things that, for which they're not anointed. There is no calling. There's a price to pay for that. It may seem all good in the earthly. Maybe the fact that one is thriving at something doesn't mean that that's what they're meant to do. And thriving at something in an earthly way. Like, because you have, likes or followers, for example, in today's, modern world, that's what it's all about. Or, cash coming in, that doesn't mean that that's what you're meant to do. And we've seen it in people other than Doreen Virtue. We have, as of last week, Steve Harvey lost 3 contracts, 3 jobs, 3 of his shows. Likely not going to be renewed, including Family Feud. They're saying probably not going to be renewed after 2020. This is a price that we pay for some of these. Oh, you notice sometimes when people get particularly successful, people around them start dying. And they say, oh, well, they must have sold that person to the Illuminati and those all kind of stuff. Well, that's possible, but it's not necessary to, consciously decide to sell someone's soul. There is a price to pay for our negative karma. I posted something today. It was Kevin Gates. I love Kevin Gates. I probably don't look like I love Kevin Gates, but I do. And it was a meme, just a meme, where he was saying like, I can't do you like you did me, or like you would do me, because I need all my blessings. Like I'm not going to fall into the trap of the earthly, basically is what he was saying, and get into ego or whatever, and act in a way that I know is not in alignment with the universe, and the universe is calling for me. So yeah, we don't have to, when we realize we're awakening, start to read tarot or run out to get a Reiki certificate. Some of us are meant to do that. Sure, of course, but not all. And there's become some sort of, I don't know. It's like some weird. I don't know. It's like a weird moment that we seem to believe we come to. Like, okay, the awakening process has started. I have to run to the store and buy tarot cards. I have to, begin to heal people. What if the disciples had done that? What if apprentices, tried to take the lead over the person under whom they were learning, the Lord. And I don't, in that case, I don't mean Lord in a religious sense. There's the Lord, there's the apprentices, and there's the indentured servants. What if they started trying to do what the leader did? What if, the disciples, the apostles said, you know what, Jesus showed me how to do things. I can heal people myself now. He showed me. I got it down pat. So then I'm going to run off and start my own business of doing this. What if that had happened? They were here and they were chosen for a particular calling. So that calling did not include them going off on their own. Their calling included them supporting their soul family. And that person, that being that helped them to awaken to it for a purpose. And that's the same thing that's happening now for true twin flames. It's kind of like an oxymoron for me, true twin flames, because the twin flame is a man-made aspect and concept too. But divine unions, divine beings, and dare I say the illumined ones and the elect, who are the ones who are prophesized, who are the ones who are not only in the scriptures, but in other texts, ancient texts referring to Atlantis and the books of the dead, and all of these things. Even the rainbow prophecies, they may not spell it out like that, but the illumined and the elect in the prophecies are who are to give way to, whether we're going to be their parents or their grandparents, give way to the rainbow children. That's what the rainbow prophecies are all about. This new breed of human, essentially, with a pure soul. So again, it's all the same story. And it's very important, I've been feeling, like I said, about a week or so now, that we start to move away from these man-made concepts and ideas that, once you find yourself on some sort of divine path, a journey, then that means you have to follow a certain metric or something. You are to be listening for what your own calling is. And I definitely think that during this period, like I said, the Pluto retrograde, and now even more so with the self-assessment that we're going to be giving, ourselves, pushed by Mercury, I think more and more we're going to be looking into that. So on that note, speaking of Mercury and Gemini, I was moved to use all kinds of cards that I haven't used in forever today for the love reading. And so this is from I think it's called the Heart deck. I don't remember the name of the deck. The Psychic Tarot for the Heart by John Holland. Haven't used that in forever. This card number 11, it's kind of like, his version of like the major arcana, these cards that come with the black borders. See behind this one, it's called Manifest. That's like the Magician kind of. Detached, I'm not really sure what you would compare that to in the traditional tarot. Maybe nothing, because it's very Mercury and Gemini. It's about this need to step back and to review and to evaluate, in a fair, air signy kind of way, looking at everyone, including ourselves. I had to talk like this week in a small group that I'm in too, about these these guys, these new age relationship gurus that seem to pander to women, or the feminine archetype, and and just telling us what we want to hear, and none of what we need to. And some of us really get off on that. We really dig it and feed on it. So this is the opposite of that. This is you acknowledging, no, I have responsibility as well. Nothing wrong with pointing out the responsibility that, the masculine or males tend to have in the downfall of relationships, but at the same time, it's important to look at our role too, and sometimes those around us and all of that. So that's what this card is about. That's what Mercury and Gemini is about. And I know that firsthand because not only am I a Gemini sun, therefore ruled by Mercury, but my Mercury is in Gemini. When I explain to people that I'm really, really Gemini, that's why I don't understand what you're saying. Cause I'm like a different kind of person. It's because both of our rulers, both Mercury and Gemini, both Mercury and Venus rather, are in Gemini in my chart. So they're both at home there. And then again, it's my sun also. So in any case, that's what this card is about. Something that I know all too well. With my Journey of the Soul deck, I'm beginning with death. This could be connected to the Pluto, maybe the retrograde, and or the energy of the Scorpio full moon, which is particularly intense because it's the last blue moon of the decade. We'll have another one soon enough, 2021. So that's not that far off, but it's the last one for this period. That's why people say once in a blue moon, because it's a rarity, right? I was guided to use my Angel Heart Sigil deck as well, which was a gift to me from one of my viewers. Hashtag fan mail. Those of you who are, of a certain age, that's a clue to how old I am, because the TLC album, their second album, was called Fan Mail, and it was about all the support they got from their supporters, from their fans. This card, Luxury. Yesterday in the general, I pulled a card as I was shuffling in my past life deck called Monk or Nun. And I said that was indicative of some of us dealing with issues possibly tied to some sort of like pledge of abstinence, chastity, or to be poor. When you become a priest, when you become a nun, you give all your worldly belongings to the leader, the bishop, the cardinal, the pope, to the church, basically. You hand them all over. So it's like we've taken this vow of, I'm not going to have anything that's of the earthly. And sometimes that manifests in this lifetime as I don't deserve anything, any riches. And in that case, not just of the earthly, but I don't deserve to feel rich, period. All the different ways of abundance. I don't deserve to experience what it means to luxuriate. It's just funny because I posted a picture yesterday on my social media of my feet, me getting my feet. I had just gotten my legs massaged for 20 minutes. And I was getting a back massage at the same time, and about to get my nails painted. That was luxuriating for me. Yes, it was of the earthly too. Some of that is okay, is what this card is about. Not only is some of that okay, but some of the other ways to experience abundance, or all of the other ways to experience abundance, are okay. And we have to, now in this lifetime, try to work on collapsing those timelines and voiding, right? Taking back those old pledges from old lifetimes. I no longer wish to commit myself, to chastity, to poor relationships, to, intimacy issues, because that's what that chastity thing manifests in this lifetime. I no longer wish to commit myself to be poor. I know that the universe wants me to enjoy its riches, its beauty, its love. There's just the line that we have to walk to avoid, again, crossing over into that dark side where you pay the price, like I was talking about with these other cards. from the Animal Tarot. Oh, this is nice. Oh, two really awesome cards fell behind. Six of Spring, which is about victory. So something good happening for us in the area of love. You may receive a promotion. That'd be nice, like a deepening of commitment. Be chosen for a scholarship or find that you're singled out for special recognition. That could be like a proposal or something. You've done an amazing job and you deserve all of the attention. So this is a card that's sort of speaking about what I was talking about here, being deserving of abundance, having earned it. And then here's some is right here behind it, the Ace of Summer. This is the beginning of a new emotional experience for you. It may be the first blush of romantic love, the rebirth of a current relationship, or the awakening of spiritual gifts and insights. And now also seeing behind that is Major Arcana card 11, Strength, which represents the sign of Leo, which has been super prevalent for whatever reason. And I'm going to have to look into why Leo keeps popping up in my readings. The masculine in my Scorpio full moon reading got three strength cards, one atop the other when I was clarifying. Yeah. True strength is displayed through kindness, forgiveness, and compassion. You have tremendous personal power and courage. But what I was trying to show you is that I was beginning with the Queen of Autumn. Thoughtful, caring, creative, and ingenious. You will be given advice that's both practical and creative, and it should be followed precisely. Focus only upon the positive in every situation or person. So of course, this can be coming up because of the Taurus, which the sun is still in Taurus, although it leaves this week and moves into Gemini on the 21st. That's another one of the major transits. Can be talking about Virgo, which is also, along with Gemini, ruled by Mercury. And it can even be talking about Capricorn, where currently two planets are in retrograde. Saturn, its ruler, and again, Pluto. Oh, and yes. Oh, speaking of Capricorn, here's Major Arcana card Ego, or the Devil, in this deck, upside down behind the Queen of Autumn. The Queen of Autumn is indeed a Capricorn, Virgo, or Taurus, or someone likened to those traits or attributes. And lastly, in my Universal Love Oracle by Tony Carmine Salerno, I'm beginning with Divine Guidance. And this full moon here, full moon's indicative of not only feminine energy for me, but specifically feminine energy of surrender. This guides us to move into that space if we're not there already. And the Queen of Autumn really is a really feminine queen too. You know, she's a real nurturer. It's very much indicative of mother and her presence for me. And on this card, there's even like a mother rabbit and her babies. So, all right. So on that note, let's do this. I think I will use these first to do the perspective of the masculine, the Soul's Journey cards, which should be interesting. I've never done this before, of course. With the dice, I'm beginning with Try Again, Dirty Movie, and Party. Spirit says, stay in bed. Yes. So if you had a yes or no question you were pondering, the answer is yes, and especially as it relates to love and partnership, with 29 showing up. Spiritual partnership. So again, I'm starting with death. I'm learning that endings are merely beginnings. So this is super Scorpio full moon, and what we're dealing with, the energy that we're working with right now. There's huge endings. We need to let go of anything attached to those, let the door close, and let it open to something new. And purpose, opening to purpose. I told you, I've been feeling you guys got to figure out what your actual purpose is. And that may not, for some, that's not going to be what it is you're doing now. And that's just the way that works, you know. I, at one point, thought my purpose was to be some sort of biologist. I wanted to be like a nerdy science writer, like the people that do the write the Science Times on Thursdays, or that write science textbooks. Somebody's got to do it. That's why I studied biology. I also wanted to be a pharmacist at one point, but then I realized they had to go to school longer than a doctor, at least at the time that I was in school. It was like 16 years. And I was like, you know what? No. And then I thought that my purpose was accounting and like, banking, finance. And it was for a big chunk of my life. That's what I did. It's not anymore. Now it's this. I know what I am here to do, is what the card says. And you know what? Opposite death, again, it's a death to maybe who you were before and what you were doing before, and allowing for a new beginning and what you're meant to do now and who you're meant to be now. Death. Indecision, because we're confused and don't know what that is. But I use my intuition in all aspects of my life to figure it out, right? Indecision and doubt. I release the need to know all the answers. So you don't have to know why, maybe, or where or when something's going to occur, even as it relates to your purpose and or your love life. Just trust that it will happen. And on that note, back to purpose. So I will cut now. Purpose. Health. I will honor the physical vessel that enshrines my soul. And this is also has been a big theme, particularly recently. And I think will continue to be for the next few years. I think this part is driven by Uranus and Taurus. That's my opinion. Overall energy is humor, which I think is also associated with Mercury, that Mercurian energy that's going to be stepping into Gemini. It's definitely associated with Gemini. And the Queen of Swords in general is somebody who can laugh things off, can find the humor in like almost any situation. And sometimes laugh at stuff that other people might say was inappropriate. Yeah, the mutable signs in general are good for this, really, to be honest. So especially when I'm seeing all this green, that was, include Virgo, Pisces, and also Sagittarius. And seeing like a golden Buddha here in the center, that makes me think of luck and whatnot. That's definitely like the energy of Sagittarius and Jupiter, its ruler. Divine Feminine. The masculine as it relates to the feminine. Oh, there's 2 cards there for himself. Interesting. And his feelings on the union as a whole right now this week as it relates to love and whatever else is going on here. Overall, what the masculine would have the feminine do, surrender, contribute toward the union, what he would like to see out of her, what he himself is willing to, and what the universe wants them both to do, would have them both do, and even wants to help them with, but they would have to first affirm it, and the outcome. Divine Feminine. Judgment. And in the tarot, the Judgment card has been coming up for me quite a bit lately. For me, it means a few things as it relates to love and relationships. Definitely about, coming to a crossroad and needing to decide where do we go from here. And actually at the end of my general reading last night, I felt that some people were going to be walking away from even, who they consider to be their divine partner because it's just not working right now. And sometimes that's what we're meant to do. Think about how life would go if you didn't know anything about this, right? Divine partner, journey, twin flame, divine union, none of it. You were never awakened to that part. You just went through your life and your love life. We break up with people sometimes, and then sometimes we get back together. I've mentioned before movies like The Notebook, Love and Basketball. You know, that people go on, they have their own lives, especially where there are differences, where one is, let's say, Jewish and one is Muslim. You know, there's things you have to go through in your life, and then maybe you can find your way back to one another. Where there's an age difference, you know, I've experienced some stuff my divine masculine hasn't, maybe, and he needs to, you know, live his life first before we're meant to, you know, be together. I was watching something the other day, and this young man had gotten married really young, not unlike myself and my ex-husband. You know, that's like a large part of the reason I have no resentment, no regrets about, you know, my marriage and stuff. We were super young. We made it work, you know, at least for over 20 years, you know, that's it. So this guy had gotten married really young too, 20s, you know, early 20s, which is what I did. And it was Judge Mathis, because now I'm remembering seeing the judge say, you know, honestly, at that age, women may be ready. Women may be mature, you know. So I guess we could look at it as in terms of archetype rather than gender, maybe. The feminine may be ready to settle down, maybe mature. She may feel the clock is ticking, even though that's not really up to us either. That's the universe. The universe wants you to have a baby at 72, like that Indian woman did. You have a baby at 72, you know. It was just Janet Jackson's birthday yesterday. She turned 52, I think, or 53. She had a baby at 50. People do it. You know, so he was explaining that men are not ready. You know, so I guess, like, again, in terms of archetype, the masculine just not ready sometimes when it comes to those things. And we got to try again another time. So we come to a crossroad and we decide, like, in a mature way and very consciously, where do we go from here, if anywhere? And then other times we've already parted, we've already separated. And what the judgment card in the tarot means is a second chance, second time around, like the Shalimar song. And we have another opportunity. You know, we come back together. Again, think Love and Basketball, think The Notebook. You know, why didn't you write me? I wrote you every day for a year. What are you talking about? Sometimes there's things that get held up and you don't know what's going on, but you find your way back to each other if you're meant to find your way back to each other. That's the way life works. Other things that judgment is about and can be the case here, even in a love reading, is judgment. Just plain and simple judgment. Guilt feelings. Resentment, regret, you know, ego upon, you know, your thoughts upon somebody else. So all that we want to refrain from too. I understand that everyone has their own unique path and challenges. The masculine as it relates to the feminine, maybe, you know, specifically in connection to judgment. Abundance. That's so funny. I left one out. Yes, and the masculine's higher self just reminded me. Judgment also, for me, is about abundance that is earned. And abundance does come in all forms, including love. Yeah, that's so funny. Abundance that is earned. And it can be about promotion, raise, bonus. And even if you think of it in respect to the universe giving you a promotion, the universe uplifting you, raising you up, you know, based on, again, your good karma. And that's why we got to be careful about how we treat other people, because like Kevin Gates said, I want all my blessings. You know, I can't afford to waste, you know, to spend any blessings, you know, being ill toward other people. I'm a limitless being and I can manifest whatever I desire in this physical reality. So masculine as it relates to the feminine this week is about abundance that is earned. And himself, he got 2 cards. They go together quite well. One is fear. I realize that I'm testing my resolve to live in the energy of love. So he's trying, basically. He's afraid. And this showed up in every single one of my readings. Like I said, like I mentioned before, in my general reading, my moon reading, he got 3 strength cards, one atop the other, clarifying the other. You know, it was like I lifted, it's strength, it's strength, it's strength. And yesterday in the general reading, 2 9 of swords, one clarifying the other. So the masculine is working with a lot of fear and maybe working through a lot of fear this week as it relates to love. This sums it up perfectly. I realize that I am testing my resolve to live in the energy of love. So he's working on it. And one of the things that's going to help him too is trust. I accept that my inner voice will always guide me correctly. So he knows if he listens to his intuition, if he listens to his heart, if he listens to his soul, then he is going to go in the right direction. And that's definitely what I was feeling in those other readings, that the fear was coming up from him being afraid to pursue his genuine passion, and maybe his true soul purpose, his true love, all those things. Masculine's feelings on the union as a whole this week. Indecision. Well, that's honest. I use my intuition in all aspects of life. Well, here we have him working on trusting, releasing fear and trusting that inner voice. So if he actually does that, then he'll become decisive soon enough. Overall, grief. I understand that losing something is an opportunity to appreciate it. And that can definitely go for some that maybe lost, again, the relationship. There was a separation. There was a breakup. I don't think I mentioned it, but I definitely meant to mention before I started the reading that I've also been feeling somebody or somebodies, maybe a few of us, masculine is coming back completely unexpected. You are separated. You are not looking for this person to come back. You're not saying that you don't wish they would, but you're just not expecting it, and they are returning. I remember one time I was in that position. I wasn't expecting my masculine to come. We were in separation, and I was good with it, having come to understand what separation means and is about to the best of my ability, given my dimensional reality at the time. Wasn't expecting him. Well, for whatever reason, this particular day, I was taking a shower, and I literally dropped to my knees in the shower, and was like, "I'm sorry," and I just just released things that I was sorry about. As related to our relationship, and things that where I felt I had wronged him. And that night, I was in CVS paying for my stuff, having not spoken to him at least a month, I believe longer, probably like 6 months. I don't really remember anymore, but I remember us being separated, I think, for a while. And, my phone went off. And it was him, like as if we had talked the day before, wanting me to come visit. And like first catching up, how was your birthday? Because he had missed my birthday even. How's your daughter? How's this? How's that? And then after we had that small talk, all right, I need to see you. But it came out of nowhere. And that's what I'm feeling for somebody else too. There was another time with my ex, who is not my divine masculine, is an ex, and has gone off to be married, whatever. But I had seen in the cards that somebody was going to be like swept off their feet and like surprised, and it might involve travel, and it played out in my own life. I was not expecting. I was totally swept off my feet because it was him, and he suddenly had come to New York from California. So I think that this grief is representing the regret, the missed opportunities, the hurt, the judgment, the fear. So I kind of combined all those thoughts at once. But yes, on one hand, I had been feeling before I even laid any cards that some divine masculine, and perhaps a few, returning very, very unexpectedly. I mean, like super unexpectedly. And then the other is us trying to deal with, it's not a mistake that it's here crossing this trust and fear, this grief. It's trying to deal with those emotions. What the masculine would have the feminine do this week toward their union and or love in general, it is purpose. So this could be a focus on you, that could be what he's guiding you to do. Look, I'm focusing, I'm not in the best place right now myself, dealing with this trust and fear. Why don't you work on your soul's purpose, your life's purpose? It can also be about considering your purpose as it relates to him. And 29, spiritual partnership. I know what I'm here to do. It could be about your role. I talked about Mercury and Gemini having to do with a self-assessment. And am I playing my role? You know, am I fulfilling my obligations and stuff? That can be what the purpose is about too. What the masculine himself is willing to do is blame. Don't these cards all go together that he chose for himself here? Trust, fear, grief, blame, judgment over here with the feminine. Well, he's accepting it. I accept responsibility for my own well-being. What the universe wants the two to do and would have them do, but they would have to first affirm it themselves, is discipline. Universe wants to help you with discipline. You can ask, you know, for that support. I can accomplish what I set my mind to. And that's about intention. Universe wanting you to work on intention, wanting you to work on manifestation and the outcome. Ooh, I love this. Freedom. I possess the power and the free will to create my own happiness. Or I can remain imprisoned. I mean, that's the alternative. It doesn't say that here, but that's the alternative, right? From the perspective of the universe. Ugh. What is wrong with me here? These. Again, beginning with detached. Card number 11 and opening to 19. So another thing, I talked about what 19 means for to those who are familiar with my readings and my teachings. I also used to do quite a bit of that, especially my first year. I have teaching videos that are in my playlists that, you know, can be watched anytime. But 1119 is not only the day that King Osiris would have me celebrate his birthday and therefore us, because he had me to spread that word. There's my own divine masculine's birthday. And it is the day on which Muhammad, the Prophet Muhammad's birthday, was celebrated this year. Oh, and I was, by the way, I opened to Shine. Card number 19 in the tarot is the sun. So this is like an equivalent. Detach. And the 9 of like swords. And its darkest fears. This is the blue background and border cards in this deck represent like the swords element. And so this would be a 9 of swords. I just talked about how the masculine got 2 9s of swords yesterday in the general reading. And we just saw fear show up for him again. And here we have a male, you know, maybe a masculine archetype to take it further, you know, exhibiting his darkest fears. But you see they're in his head. They surround his mind. This is very crown chakra. This is very air sign. And quite possibly in relation to success and growth. This would be, I'm getting wands from this, the purple border, but then could also be having to do with like a 8 of Pentacles kind of card. And where we put our effort is where we get our results, right? Reaping what we sow. Darkest fears. And card number 20, Blossom. In the tarot, 20 is judgment. Here it's obviously something different. It's his own card. It's like another card of representing growth and positivity and happiness, similar to the sun. All right. Here we have a card number 12. It's called Observe. And with these people upside down, it's reminiscent of card number 12, Major Arcana card 12 in the tarot, which is the Hanged Man. And about an air of suspension and maybe needing to figure out what exactly it is we want and need, what our goals are, what our dreams are. And then we can begin to work on them to plant the seeds with this very 7 of Pentacles type card and then await the results patiently. Because when you plant seeds, what happens? They grow, right? So that's like an expectation that's safe to have. They blossom. Isn't that funny how blossom is right opposite it? I think I will cut on that note. And it is card number 14, balance in this deck. In the traditional tarot, card number 14 is temperance. And it is about a coming together like this, about being able to work together and, it's about give and take, being able to compromise, to work through those differences like, you're younger and I'm older, you're Jewish and I'm Muslim, I'm tall and you're short or whatever it is. Working through all those things, disagreement is temperance. It's also very healing energy too. Our overall energy is a card number 2. It's called Spread Your Wings. And this card resonates very much with what we've seen already. It is about maybe outgrowing a condition, a living condition or a relationship, a situation, and your soul, your heart wanting to soar and you wanting to listen to it, but at the same time feeling like indecisive, feeling maybe even slightly stuck. It's just become very confining, whatever your situation is, what relationship is, become very confining to you and maybe made you, somewhat confused. What do I do? Is it okay for me to leave this situation, for me to move on, for me to express that I've outgrown it maybe? My soul wants to expand and this doesn't fit me anymore. What do I do? Spread your wings. Listen to your heart like the other cards guided us to do and move on. So divine being or couple. Recent past, near future, masculine's higher self, blocks to individual or shared progress or even union, what the feminine can do to help herself, what the masculine can, what the universe wants to help the two with, again, but they would have to first affirm, and an outcome card. Divine being or couple. Is third eye chakra, card number 6. So 6s are about equality. In supreme math, that's what it means. It means equality. But you'll see them showing up in other areas. Equality, balance, love, fairness, equity, all of these things. A card of justice. With the third eye chakra and connection to 6, it is about becoming balanced in that area. And again, seeing all sides of something, all aspects of something, or as many as you're able to this far, and considering them all in a fair and just way. That's how 6 and 3 come together. Recent past. Feeling alone. This is very 5 of Pentacles. And look at the full moon. That may have brought up some feelings, you can see there's water here too. So it could be like the Scorpio full moon, bringing up emotions and things that we've had to deal with in the very recent past. This has happened to us, right? Just 2 days ago. Or 1 day ago, just yesterday, actually. Today's the 19th. Near future, though. Flow. Card number 10, flow. And this too, there's a man standing in water and he has his hand over his heart. So I feel like this is also dealing with emotions, but it's a far more positive card. And again, it would be like one of his major arcana cards, so a stronger card with the black border. But it's giving me like 10 of cups, just... It's giving me joy. It's giving me feeling. It's giving me emotion. It's giving me love. It's giving me, at the same time, like, dealing, coping, learning to understand what it is you're feeling. And then going with the flow. Card's called flow. Masculine's higher self. Teach. And it's a 5. So between the 5 and the teach, it's very Hierophant, right? The Hierophant is major arcana card 5 in the tarot, and it's about higher institutions, learning, commitment, enlightenment, spirituality, tradition, maybe breaking with tradition, all of these things. Also, for me, it's very much about with whom, what, and where we surround ourselves, and making sure that we make adjustments to our life. We, again, self-evaluate, and we make adjustments to ensure that we're always surrounded by people of our vibration or like vibration likened to our own or higher, better, from whom we can learn something. And occasionally even teach. Sometimes the student shows the teacher something. Blocks to our individual progress or couple progress, union. Believe and succeed. And it's another 6. So it's a lack of, I'm getting a lack of movement, and maybe that's because there's a boat or something here, and there's more water. Lack of moving through the emotions. So because we had been stuck maybe, and we hadn't found this flow yet. That's what's been the block. But this is coming in the near future, is what it says. Well, this will be accessible to us, so that'll help us move through whatever these feelings are. And it's about raising our self-esteem and our confidence in ourselves. It's about trust. It's about faith. It's about self-love. Again, 6 also means love. What the feminine can do to help herself. Ooh, reach out. Reach out. And this is the 3, or A3. 3 is about creativity. It can be about the creator. So they can also be very spiritual, like God, representative of God, similar to 7s. They are about abundance. And they can represent worker energies too. And I think this is about, yeah, it's pretty straightforward. Reach out. I'm hearing Diana Ross. Reach out and touch somebody's hand. Yeah, maybe because I see the hands here too. Reach out and touch somebody's hand. Make this world a better place if you can. I think that's what it is. It's about being willing to, again, compromise, share. It's half of the 6. So, like we each need our 3, and then we can come together. 3 is about creativity. We can come together for co-creation and equality and fairness and love with the 6. And we put our 2 3s together. But it requires someone to reach out first, or be willing to accept the hand when somebody else reaches out. What the masculine can do to help himself, it is solar plexus chakra, and another 3, 6 6 3 3, 5 5, which equals 10, and 10 here. Do you see all this? Solar plexus. This is dealing with our gut feelings, right? Solar plexus is your gut. Where some people would dare say the soul is located. That's why we feel butterflies in our stomach. That's why we feel like our stomach dropping, and when we experience, where there's like a shock, and it's like, whoo, my stomach just like hit the bottom of my body. This is the area on which the masculine needs to work on, to face that fear that he's going through. What the universe would have the 2 do and wants them to do, wants to help them with, but they have to first affirm it. It's win or lose. And with this big sword here. So it looks kind of like a 5 of swords, except for there's a heart here too. And I think this is about you choosing, again, your own happiness, and the universe wanting to help you to do that. But it's like it's in your hands. It's in your hands. You can, be Excalibur and pull this sword out and, fight for victory for yourself, or you can give up and leave it in there, leave it stuck in there, leave yourself stuck too. It's up to you whether you win or lose. What the universe wants to help us to understand and deal with. And the outcome. It's another 6, and it is love. And again, it's on the black border, so it's one of these major arcana type cards. It is like the Lovers. So this is the outcome where the effort goes in. I love that. I love that ending. On that note, I'll just do the advice. I did these in the wrong order. This card that I wanted to read for everybody, I should have done first. I saved it for last. From the Universal Love Oracle, Masculine Reflection. So you need to do some of this, taking a look at yourself and working on the self-assessment, and you in particular. And we have, it looks like Kuan Yin here, maybe Mary. So I'm sure they're thinking about fairness, forgiveness, love. It's very motherly or matronly. feminine kind of energy. We started in the beginning with the divine from the same deck. We began with divine guidance and this feminine energy of surrender. So I think this is you being guided toward that yet again, masculine. Feminine. Oh, sacred union. Again, we can have that love at the outcome, but it requires us to decide if that's what we want, like for real or not, and what we're willing to do for it. From the animal tarot to the masculine, it is strength again. This is your fourth strength card this weekend. True strength is displayed through kindness, forgiveness, and compassion. You have tremendous personal power and courage. Of course, for some of us, this means a Leo is super, super significant in your life this week. Feminine. Ooh, it's that fresh start in love or reunion. It's that person that's coming back that you didn't expect it. The Ace of Summer. This is the beginning of a new emotional experience for you. It may be the first blush of romantic love, the rebirth of a current relationship, or the awakening of spiritual gifts and insights. And all of those will be super positive for us right now. Masculine. Remember, your soul wanted to expand. It wanted to grow. That's probably courtesy of Jupiter. Whatever it is, there's another card indicative of that happening for you this week. Growth. I want to expand my consciousness and my awareness. Feminine for us from the Soul's Journey cards, it is perseverance. Guided to keep on going, keep pushing. I know that I can do whatever I set my mind to. So again, if you want to do this, this is what you're trying to accomplish. This is what you're trying to accomplish. You can. You get to decide whether or not that's what you want. Masculine is something that we're refusing to see. And I think what we're refusing to see for a lot of us is ourselves. And again, our own desires, our own needs, our own true passions, true love, true wishes. And we're seeing what other people want us to do instead. We're not seeing our true selves. That's what that means. And that's what you need to work on this week. That's what you need to face the fear to do. You see, it's a third eye showing up here again. We had just had that third eye chakra that you needed to work on. Feminine, for us, it is success and growth. That card is back. I think this is about reaping what we've sown. Again, where you put if you're willing to do the work, you can have the outcome. Masculine got two cards again. Interesting. One is Uriel and veneration, and one is Shamael and orientation. And here I see Venus, Orion, Sirius. I think that's significant for you guys too. So that's that. Feminine Hour card is also with Archangel Shamael, and it is reconciliation. Boom! What did I say? Now y'all be sure to tell me when he shows up, whomever that applies to. Reconciliation. I will read. Masculine veneration. And again, this is called the Angel Heart Sigils deck by Stuart Pierce and Richard Crooks. And here's the card. Uriel, veneration. The holy ones, the angels and the ministers of grace teach us that the person who has removed the inner argument of doubt, how perfect is this for the masculine? He showed up with doubt earlier, the doubt card. The person who's removed the inner argument of doubt about the divine will receive enlightenment. Like the teaching that was his higher self's card. He will be taught, he will receive that clarity and enlightenment once he removes the doubt. I love this for him. Further, the person whose love of life is rich, who holds the planet in light, knowing that there is no music in fear, comprehending that the compassion of sound and the clarity of light are dual energies from the source, will be revered. So be bathed in the light of the source by gazing on the images of Yogananda and Babaji in this icon, and feel their heartfelt light move deep within your soul. Then feel the reverence that this engenders as a gesture of deep respect. These Bod Divstafsta, what? Oh, it's a word that ran on to another line. It's Bodhisattva. It's one word. They remind us that they are God in human form. And so Uriel, the divine companion, overshadows your life as they do when you kneel in reverence and provides you with manna. So that's like food from heaven. Yeah, manna from heaven to bathe you in peace. Chant high through the throat chakra, the Visuddha. I wish they would stop running on to second line. And you will feel the deep reminder of Uriel's qualities caressing your life with amazing abundance, freedom, trust, and companionship. Aren't those all the energies we just spoke about? Abundance, freedom, trust, and companionship. Gaze on Uriel's heart sigil for its specific resonance to pour into your life. I'll do the other the masculine's other card also before I do the feminine. It is Shamael, orientation, and reconciliation follows it immediately in the book, so then I'll just go on to read the feminines. Shamael, orientation. Shamael indicates through this icon that the galaxy is alive with a new pulse, for the stars are shimmering with awakened intent, and the universe is gathering to provide inspiration for you as a star being and a fragment of the divine. Being a star being came up in the general reading yesterday too, with a card called Galactic. The angels of the Atlantis are communing to remind us that from the stars, and that if we've lost the orientation of our life, the stars will lead us through the art and science of astrology or astronomy, just as they led our ancestors, which is crazy because I just finished talking about Galactic, a card that I pulled called Galactic, saying that it was about us being star seeds and needing to reconnect with other star seeds and divine beings in the general reading that came up totally. So this totally resonates. So if you've lost direction with an aspect of your life, drawing this card means that Shamael will bring oracular messages to help you to find your way. This will occur by a sudden change of direction, the breath of a new thought or feeling, a brush with one's life's passers-by, or by an unusual stimulus gifting you amazing information. Whatever the situation, choosing this icon means that your life path is genetically and numerologically charted for, or numerologically charted for a recalibration. Breathe deeply, gaze at the firmament, feel the stillness of your soul, and Shamael's heart sigil will whisper intimations to you. Chant He through the 8th chakra, the universal heart, and you will simply know your next turning. So this is basically telling the masculine to listen to his heart again. But like I said, to me, the whole message totally resonates, not only with this reading and what I've been saying here tonight, but with my general reading and with my moon reading as well. And, the masculine you have to go inside, listen to your soul, listen to your heart. Feminine. Reconciliation is the very next one. Shamael, as divine guide, is always present for you to help you to reap reconciliation from conflict, no matter what level or theme or operation. The ritual of reconciliation is an expression of the infinite and therefore inclusively part of the angels' consciousness, for they comprehend the nature of duality on this planet, even though other planetary domains that they serve do not have similar vibrational fields. Many major reconciliations are taking place at this time on our planet, as we saw with Ronald Reagan and Mikhail Gorbachev in 1989, bringing closure to the Cold War. This was when the strife that had raged for years between the Soviets of the East and the capitalists of the West came to a point of closure. This was an act of supreme significance, bringing further national actions of reconciliation which define the interconnectivity of our species. Therefore, the choice of this card propels you to review your own life. Lord, how many times have I said those exact words tonight in this reading about reviewing our own life, assessing ourselves? So the feminine's card totally resonates too. You're going to review your own life to see if reconciliation is necessary, and thence to complete the action with Shamael's heartfelt aid. This can easily be achieved sending all negativity into the violet flame. Research the ritual if you don't know how to do it, and then drenching the person or establishment or location in the lilac ray of Shamael's infinite love and forgiveness. Chant Ah through your heart chakra, the Anahata, to surround yourself with the intention of loving grace. I really hope that you guys have enjoyed the love reading. I thank you again for joining, liking, sharing, subscribing, patronizing me, supporting me in any way that you do. Some of you do several times over. I really appreciate you. As much as you show me that you appreciate me, I feel the same way about you. Thanks again. I'll be back with something. Namaste.